Today to review this thing, we're going to review this thing, the Cerakote Ceramic Headlight Restoration Kit. If you've been looking for a pretty inexpensive way to get your headlights looking almost brand new, then the Cerakote Ceramic Headlight Restoration Kit may be just what you're looking for. If you're like my husband and me, we buy a vehicle and we drive it until you just can't drive it anymore. And when you do that, the headlights get some wear and tear, give them that foggy look so they don't look so good, and it also makes the lights a little dimmer. We've been talking about needing to do something for the headlights for years, and we came across this Cerakote Headlight Restoration Kit and figured we might as well give it a try. We've used it on 2 different vehicles and we want to show you how it works. So let's review this thing. Let's go ahead and cover the facts. Number 1 is fit. So this is actually going to be a pretty easy question to answer. Each kit comes with enough material to do 2 headlights. So if you need to do 1 car, get 1 box. More than 1 car, more than 1 box. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So as long as you know that and you buy the right amount, I'm going to have to say it fits perfectly. So because of that, we're going to give fit a 5 out of 5. Now is the Cerakote Ceramic Headlight Restoration Kit as advertised. First thing they advertise is that it restores sun damaged and oxidized headlights to like new within about 30 minutes. So on the first car we did it, it probably took about an hour for a couple reasons. One, just trying to make sure we were doing it right, taking our time. And then also we didn't follow the directions exactly. It says to do both headlights at the same time with each step, and we did not do that. So I think that probably made it take a little bit longer too. On the second vehicle, we followed the directions exactly, and from start to finish, getting set up to cleaning everything up took about 45 minutes. So the actual process of restoring the headlight probably did take about 30 minutes. Now, as far as restoring to like new, I have to be honest and say that I didn't really expect it to work all that well. Both the truck and the car that we used it on looked pretty rough, pretty oxidized, pretty damaged whenever we got started. So I didn't have high hopes for how it was going to turn out. And after literally 30 minutes, it went from this to this. And this to this. So we were super impressed with how much improved they were. The next thing they advertise is that it's easy to use. The kit is super easy to use. It comes with everything that you need. It just takes a little bit of effort, not a ton, but it's easy to do. Very detailed directions so you know exactly what you're doing. Now, an added benefit that I didn't see necessarily advertised is that we have found since we've gotten that cloudiness off of our headlights that at night they're actually a little bit brighter, so it's easier to see driving at nighttime with that cleaned off. And finally, they advertise that it requires no tools. The only really tool that you need is the little sander that comes with it, and of course a little elbow grease goes a long way when it comes to that sanding too. So overall, we found it easy to use, quick to use, no tools, and it did a great job. So because of that, is it as advertised? 5 out of 5. Now on to construction and durability. I touched on the process a little bit, but I want to give you a few more details about how this actually works. So first thing, you're going to want to do it in the shade so that it doesn't get really hot, but also so things don't dry too quickly. Then just go ahead and get all your supplies out of the box and ready to go. You're going to need a spray bottle full of water, or we used a water hose and found that to work really well. And then also make sure you have several towels around, because there's a part where you dry everything and it needs to be completely dry. We went ahead and opened up the hood and taped around the headlights. They say that if you get any of these chemicals on your vehicle, it's not a big deal. You just rinse it off. But we figured it'd be way easier just to go ahead and tape it and then not even have to worry about it. Then you put on the gloves that they provide and go ahead with step 1. So the first step, you're going to use the wipes to take the oxidization off of the headlights. And the motion that you do each step, it even tells you that. So this one you do in a circular motion. As you take the oxidization off, the rags will actually turn yellowish brown. Once that rag is completely yellowish brown, go ahead and switch and use the next one. Now each kit comes with 8 of those wipes, and they definitely want you to use 4 on each headlight for sure. Once you've used all 4 wipes, you're going to go ahead and rinse it, and then you're going to move on to step 2. Step 2 is the sanding step. So first you're going to start with the red disc, and this one again, it tells you not to go in circles, but just to go in straight lines. So you're basically just sanding off any remaining oxidization. You're going to do that red disc first for about 2 to 3 minutes, and just make sure you get everything, make sure it's not shiny, anything like that. Then you're going to switch to the other disc, and you're going to do the exact same thing. Now you'll see here that we used a water hose to keep it wet the whole time. That's one thing that they definitely mention, either with the spray bottle or the water hose. The water hose just seemed a lot easier. And everything I read said to make sure that there is nothing shiny left at all. You're going to rinse it real good again, and then you're going to make sure everything is completely dry. The headlight, all the areas around it, 100% completely dry. It's going to look a lot foggier at this point. Now step 3 is where that ceramic coating comes into place. So you've cleaned and sanded off all the oxidization. So now we're going to fill in all of that with that ceramic coating. It's very specific here. You're going to want to start at the top and go to the bottom. You're going to want to make sure you get all the spots, nice smooth strokes, and that's what's going to make the light look the best. Then they say to let it sit and dry for at least an hour before you do anything to it. And some places I read said you may want to wait for up to 12 hours before you even let the light get wet to let it completely harden to be fully protected. But at this point, they already look almost new. Now here's one thing I want to point out that I think is pretty doggone amazing. They actually have a warranty on their headlights. So on their website, they say that if you are unhappy at any point, if they start getting foggy again, then they'll either give you a refund or they'll replace the box. So even if 6 months down the road, a year down the road, it needs to be done again, as long as you keep your proof of purchase, then they'll send you another kit for free and you just redo it. As far as durability, when we first did it, I showed you the difference. This is what it looked like when we started, and this is what it looked like when we finished. Now here we are about 5 weeks later, and now it looks like this. So you can see this headlight still looks so much better than we started, and it looks very close to the way that it did whenever we first did it. And I'll point out that this car sits in the sun, the rain, the elements, pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So far, we've been really pleased with the Cerakote Ceramic Headlight Restoration Kit. So because of that, we're going to give construction durability a 5 out of 5. Now on to testimonials and reviews. So on Amazon, it has over 14,000 ratings, and 90% of those are either a 4 or a 5. But you know what I like to do? I'm going to tell you what the complaints were from the 1s and the 2s. One of the main complaints is that people said it looked worse after or it looked streaky. Then I read several other suggestions that just said to make sure you do it right the first time, make sure you follow the directions, make sure you get all of the sanding done that you need to, make smooth movements, especially with that ceramic coating, and that should make a big difference. Other people complained that it scratched their headlights. Now I will say there definitely are what I guess you could call micro scratches on the headlights from all the sanding, but then that ceramic coating is meant to kind of fill those in and protect them more. Our lights looked pretty awful before we started, so I don't even notice those tiny little micro scratches when you're standing further than 4 feet away. Some people said it scratched their paint when they were using the sander. That's why we taped it up, so that we wouldn't even risk running into it with chemicals or with the sander. And then finally, several people say you have to sand a lot more than they say. Basically, they say if your lights are really bad, you're going to have to sand until you get all of that oxidization off of the light. If there's anything shiny remaining, just keep sanding until there is none left. So I'm going to tell you the score we found. Testimonials and Reviews, it gets a 4.6 out of 5. And finally, should you buy this thing? I guess it all comes down to what is it that you're expecting from this product. Like I mentioned, and you saw the pictures, our headlights looked pretty awful before we started. So improving them wouldn't have been really hard. So we were super impressed with how much improved they were. Now I didn't mention this, but that car is 19 years old and has almost 300,000 miles on it. So it's seen its fair share of weather and all kinds of damage. Right now you can get this kit on Amazon for $16.88. And remember, one kit does one car. On Walmart.com, I believe it's $13.47 right now. $16.88 or $13.47 is really not much to pay to get our headlights looking as much better as they do now compared to what they did before. If you have sun damage and oxidized headlights and you would like them to look a lot better and work quite a bit better, then the Cerakote Ceramic Headlight Restoration Kit may be just what you're looking for. So because of that, should you buy this thing? 5 out of 5. Hey, thanks for watching our Cerakote Ceramic Headlight Restoration Kit review video. While you're here, watch a bunch of other videos. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. If you really like it, share it with your friends. And also, please consider subscribing to our channel. And if you want to follow us on social media, you can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and on TikTok.